There's nothing like an old-fashioned media war, and that's what seems to be brewing between the sports yackers at WEEI and the Boston Globe, with calls for advertiser boycotts on both sides.
WEEI was having a field day last Friday, with news that the Boston Herald's Ron Borges had fallen hard for a hoax. Ron wrote this column after being contacted by someone pretending to be Tom Brady's agent, Don Yee.
Ron Borges was duped, 100% fooled.
Later in the day, host Christian Foria took the joke too far, imitating Don Yee with an Asian accent.
Oh, hello. Hello, Ron. This is Don Yee. This is Don Yee.
That earned Foria a 5-day suspension. Clearly not enough for Boston Globe columnist Shirley Leung, who started calling WEEI advertisers. 5 of them pulled ads. EEI management responded with an apology and mandatory sensitivity training for all staff. Morning host Kirk Minahan was none too pleased.
I love WEEI. I love management. I love not being able to say what's on my mind. I love being castrated.
Minahan also fired back at the Globe, calling on listeners to cancel their subscriptions over the paper's own lax handling of internal sexual harassment complaints.
Has there been sexual harassment in the workplace at the Boston Globe for decades? Yes. Have they done anything to fix it? No. Are you going to cancel your subscription to the Boston Globe because of this? Because I would.
Meanwhile, Minahan was scheduled to join other WEEI staffers today for that all-day sensitivity training. We're promised a full report come Monday.
I have mixed feelings about the way the Boston Globe handled this. I mean, Shirley Leung's original article I thought was terrific and spot on. She said, wait a minute, this isn't enough. The other 2 midday hosts should have been held accountable because they were laughing and going along with it. But, and I'm being consistent on this too, when people start calling the advertisers, as they did with Bill O'Reilly or Sean Hannity when he got, it's just, I don't know. You can always, you can always shame somebody or make the, and by the way, the Massachusetts lottery, these are people, this is a business that preys on poor people and raises false hopes and expectations, and they're being altruistic by pulling their ads off of EI. That's ridiculous. So I thought the rest of it was all fair game. Calling each other's advertisers, no.
Wait a minute, I play the lottery. Are you saying I may not have a very good chance of winning? You know, I think that what Shirley Leung has been doing has been interesting. I do think that when you start calling the advertisers, it's a very fine line between this is a reporter inquiring about what do you think about WEEI and implicitly pressuring them to cancel their advertising. So that is a pretty fine line. I am glad to see that one of the businesses that she has contacted is the Red Sox, which is WEEI's biggest patron, and of course the Red Sox and the Globe share a common owner, John Henry.
When you said, you know, there's a fine line there, you used the term reporter. She's not a reporter, right? She's a columnist, and she's stirring the pot. It seemed to me like what she was doing was squarely within a columnist's mandate, right? Call up the advertiser, say, hey, this brand is established. We know what you're going to get from them. You know what you're going to get from them. Why are you still with them? And get them to answer the question. I didn't personally find that problematic at all.
I did not think that that was pressuring the advertisers. If she asked a question, what are you doing? You were free to tell her nothing, we think it's fine, or here's what we're doing, or say nothing. That's on you. You know, as an old civil rights person, it's really hard for me not to support a boycott.
So holier than thou stuff from the Massachusetts lottery was nauseating.
I cannot disagree with any of that. But I'm just saying you were talking about the tactics. And so the question is whether that is something that is effective. Is she a reporter? No, she is not. Is this a fair question for her to ask? Yes, it is. Now you can answer back and forth where do you want this now boycott war going on between the Globe, and they can use the same kind of tactic if they choose to, and if people support them, I guess that's what happens.
I mean, we don't know how Shirley Leung's been handling this, what she's been saying on these phone calls.
Well, she told us what she said.
Well, but we don't know whether she's been pressuring them or just simply asking, have you heard about this? What's your take on it? It seems those calls aren't unreasonable. And you do have a good point about the state treasurer's office that oversees the lottery. They also have this unclaimed money list. And for years, Fourier was voicing ads for them in a mock Mr. T accent.
Oh, great.
Which I know some
delightful.
people who
I had
found
no
that to
idea.
be kind of racially offensive. And that station has quite the track record of getting involved in, shall we say, racially questionable dialogue. I would just say this. Kirk Minahan's been hammering away on the fact that they have great ratings. And their ratings are good. Although I believe the Sports Hub won last month in the battle of sports stations. Good ratings won't do you any good if the advertisers are bailing. That's the bottom line.
And that's the only reason why management reacted over there.
Of
Because they
course.
weren't going to apologize. They didn't speak to Shirley, who, by the way, is a contributor here at WGBH News as well. They did not respond to her calls for comment, and
That's
they only
correct.
responded when the advertisers started to bail. That's exactly what happened with Hannity, exactly what happened with Bill O'Reilly.
By the way, one other point, I got to squeeze this and I'll talk us down the road. The notion that, the suggestion that we heard that people cancel their Globe subscription because the paper hasn't fully reckoned with their sexual harassment issue in their ranks. It seems, based on things that a lot of us have heard and been told, that the paper has not fully reckoned with that problem. However, that being said, there's a fundamental difference between them falling short in that piece that they wrote a few weeks back and WEEI routinely putting forward as part of its content, its claim to fame, the obnoxious, frequently offensive stuff, racist, bigoted, homophobic, you name it, putting forward the stuff that they do. That's different than the Globe on one occasion failing to adequately reckon
we don't know if it's
with
just
its
one
baggage.
occasion.
No, but the point is the Globe's primary product is not examination of sexual harassment inside itself.